Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I was at a Meeplefest earlier today. It actually continues tomorrow, and it's all about board game exposition. We got a few game designers there, and some people just playing new board games that are new to them. I still didn't get a chance. I'm a little bit disappointed that I still haven't gotten the chance to play Ticket to Ride Berlin. To give you an idea of how little I've played this, the cards are still in the order that they were in when they came with the box. I mean, I opened them to look at the tickets because I needed to input them into my AI program, but there they are, untouched. And probably the saddest copy of Ticket to Ride Berlin that's been printed all year round, right? I'm going to get some good gift wrap, and right now they're looking for Christmas presents where I work, and so I'm gonna send this off to a better home. But that's okay. I'm not terribly disappointed anymore because I got to talk to some of the other people there about some board games, and I made a few soul-searching discoveries about myself and about how I interact with other people. I discovered that I can get a lot more interaction out of people just by opening my mouth. And for example, last week I was complaining about how my roommates don't talk to me. It turns out that I was too fixated on the computer AI last week. I was too fixated on, right now as I speak, precious metals are crashing, and I'm really fixated on when to buy precious metals, especially palladium right now. I've been transfixed by all that. The mining stocks, when are they going to dip? And that's all I wanted to think about these last couple of weeks. Not surprisingly, that's not the kind of thing that people my age are thinking about very much, right? And so the conversations with my roommates didn't go very well. I found even talking about anything else, like the weather, or trying any new foods, or what else did I talk about? Anything of I'm sometimes too smart for my own good. Like, for example, I talk about, I sometimes think too hard about alternative medicine and intermittent fasting and all that, when people really want to hear about what new foods did you try, or they want to hear about what new songs you've heard on the radio, what's your favorite Christmas carol that you've heard recently, right? That stuff gets a lot more. But unfortunately, that stuff is way too boring for me. Just the other day, I was showing my roommate, I recently got a Geiger counter, and I was showing my roommate how the dust around our house is slightly radioactive. And the reason household dust is slightly radioactive is, it was Mary Curry's birthday the other day, which is why I wanted to show that. It really does contain some of Mary Curry's favorite element, because radon in the atmosphere, we don't have a whole lot of radon here, but when it decays, it makes positively charged polonium and radioactive lead and bismuth atoms, not the kind of bismuth that would, well, you could make a crystal out of it, but it would decay really quickly. And it attaches itself to household dust. And that kind of stuff excites me more than what Taylor Swift is singing about on the radio, or how the weather is today, or what new foods did you try today. I find that stuff bores me out, but I have to realize that a lot of stuff requires boring in order to get going, right? For example, buying physical palladium and negotiating with people with the online coin dealers or on eBay. That's kind of boring too, right? But it's a means to the end, right? I got to remember that. Now, one thing that bugged me a little bit today at the meetup was that you got to understand the typical demographics of people who would play a board game. A lot of these people are maybe not as far as I am, but they're on the autistic spectrum. I got a lot of ADHD folks, and a lot of times they interrupt constantly. right, in a conversation. And a lot of times when I'm sharing a story, whether it be about my programming AI or finding polonium in the household dust or whatever, right? A lot of times I don't want to begin the story unless I can finish it. I was talking to some of the other people at the meetup about alternatives to daylight savings time, right? Unfortunately, if you live outside of Arizona, you have to make an adjustment last week. I was wanting to talk to these people about alternatives to that. I have a very elaborate system for getting around that. And I kept getting interrupted. It's like, gee, if I knew I would have been interrupted so many times, I wouldn't have even begun. It's okay for me to not talk about this. And I'm going to have to think hard. I don't know if I went online to read about this. I couldn't find any information. If there's a story you only want to tell all or tell nothing, how do you handle that, right? That's something that I'll have to answer for myself before tomorrow, because I'm going back to that tomorrow. Maybe I'll just be a little bit more quiet unless it's something really short that I could say in 2 sentences, right? Because it really bugged me today. I felt a surge of anger. I mean, I didn't blow up at the meetup, but I felt a huge surge of anger when I couldn't finish my elaborate story about the daylight savings time, about building an RTG out of household dust. It just angered me that I couldn't finish. I would have preferred not to even begin had I known I couldn't finish those stories. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.